Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. For those of you that are new listening to us from around the world, welcome. And first of all, a very warm welcome because we've seen our Twitter page buzzing today. We've had lots more followers, and that's always a good and positive thing. So hello, and hope that you're well. My name is Ingram Jones, and I'm the face that you'll see on BWTM Sports. So we'll do live interviews, live chats, reaction videos, and we cover sports. So we occasionally get exclusives, which is good for the channel. And we get a lot of people on the channel. Our guests are very open-minded and very open with their speech in terms of the truth. We try to give you as much the truth as possible on the channel. That being said, let's move on. So a little bit of information for those of you who haven't already become a member of our Facebook page. It's BWTM Sports Group, or BWTM Sports on Facebook. So BWTM Sports Channel or BWTM Sports Group. As you get in, just request friend membership. It's free. Get yourself in there, and then you'll get all the latest news, not just from what BWTM are doing, but other people who are involved in sport as well. And then you can post your own videos, and have your say about whatever in the world of sport that either tips your fancy or really gets you upset. So get yourself in there and check that out. Okay, so we're going to talk about Callum Smith, I believe. Eugene, I think we should we obviously got to do our show as well, our European boxing show. If you've got time tonight, can we do that? That'd be fantastic. Okay, so first and foremost, we're here to talk about Callum Smith. Not much Callum Smith. Well, let's take you back a bit. As you know, last weekend we had the fight between George Groves and Chris Eubank Jr. We did a breakdown to the fight, told you kind of what to expect. And in this occasion, our breakdown was more or less spot on. Boxing is a very unpredictable sport, and when you get it right, you know, very few people will clap you on the back, but when you get it sensationally wrong, you know, you do get those who will come out and let you know you got it wrong. But we got it right this time, which is good. Unfortunately for Chris Eubank Jr., didn't quite get it right on the night. George Groves got it right on the night, but is now injured with the, I don't know if it's dislocated shoulder, but it certainly looked dislocated to me. But I don't know. But will he be fit in time to make the final? He's in the final now, and he's unified champion. I think super WBA champion and IBO champion now, taking Chris Eubank's belt going into the final. On the other side of the other semi-final, of course, it was semi-final time. The other two combatants was Callum Smith versus Jürgen Bremer. Now, let's take you back a bit in time. At one point, there was talk about Callum Smith not being in the tournament, potentially. I don't know how true those rumors were, because he wasn't happy about going to fight, I think, in Bremer's backyard, or if not Bremer's backyard, then fighting away from home. I don't think Callum Smith and team Joe G or Joe Gallagher were happy about that. Now, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't talk to Joe Gallagher. I don't know Callum Smith. I'm just what I've heard. Callum Smith, as you know, fought Eric Skoglund, who we spoke to afterwards. I think we spoke to Eric Skoglund. I got an interview with him. Very, very likable gentleman. Fortunately, Skoglund afterwards fell into a coma and has since come out of that coma. But he won't be boxing again. But Eric Skoglund spoke of his fight with Callum Smith and how good Callum Smith was. He had a lot of positive things to say about Callum Smith. So we didn't know whether Callum Smith was actually going to take part in this semi-final or not, because they were kicking up a real stink about it. It now goes, now that Jürgen Bremer, who had a very good win against Rob Brandt. Now, coming into that fight, Jürgen Bremer I believe that was his first fight of the tournament, if I'm right. Was it? I think it was, against Rob Brandt in the quarterfinals. And people did give Brandt a bit of a chance, but Jürgen Bremer's experience, being a naturally bigger man, and the more experienced fighter, more accomplished fighter, Jürgen Bremer did what he had to do. And I have to say, he looked very good on the night. Very good. I don't know if it was a combination of Jürgen being a naturally bigger man, the more experienced fighter, and the guy who had better ring craft and know-how, and just generally a better boxer. Or Rob Brandt wasn't that good. But which one we just didn't. We don't know. But we do know Bremer got through to the semi-finals. He was going to meet Callum Smith. When you look at the photos between the two guys, Callum Smith was towering over Jürgen Bremer, but Bremer has campaigned longer at light heavyweight. The question was how much Jürgen Bremer had in the tank, whether Callum Smith had the power to hurt Jürgen Bremer. Of course, punching power is about levels, and you may be knocking guys out domestic level and maybe European level, but at real elite class, does that power travel, and does he have that kind of knockout power? Vicious left hook to the body. Callum Smith has a nice jab as well. Good technical boxer, Callum Smith. Early on in his career, he was knocking guys out with that body shot, that left hook to the body. In fact, I think he had a 1.3 or 4 first round KO wins. He was looking good. Talked about one of the best prospects in the world. But for me, there's always been question marks about Callum Smith at the highest level. The fight against Skoglund, I felt he struggled, and all the alarm bells I had about Callum Smith, not being able to fight under pressure, walking straight back from punches, and not being able to handle pressure very well when he's against the ropes. All those things, all those alarm bells came out against Skoglund, who himself we didn't know too much about. A decent fighter, but you wouldn't call him an elite fighter. Fights against Durrell, Ramirez, DeGale, these were all fights that Callum Smith somehow or the other didn't get himself involved with. Now he's in this tournament. He's got past Skoglund, another fighter that really nobody really knew about until obviously the tournament. Now he avoids fighting Jürgen Bremer and could walk straight into he's now fighting in the semi-final against a guy by name, let me get the guy's name right because I don't want to mispronounce the gentleman's name. Let me see. James says Nieky Holzken. Okay, he's now the replacement fighter who is going to be fighting Callum Smith in the semi-finals. He's 34 years old. He's from the Netherlands. He competes in a number of events. He likes to switch disciplines rather than move to full-time in one sport. So one minute he'll be doing kickboxing, then he'll be doing boxing, then he'll be doing Muay Thai. He's a jack of all trades and really a master of none. The Dutch fight is nicknamed the Natural. Well, can't be held in a box. Holzken is also the Dutch super middleweight kickboxer and has been the welterweight champion in the past. He has not won in kickboxing since 2006, and he has lost his glory welterweight title in December of the same year. And this information I'm getting from the son. The 34-year-old also competes in Muay Thai and is a two-time European Muay Thai champion. He has turned his hand to boxing in 2013 alongside kickboxing and Thai boxing. Since he started boxing, he has won 13 of his fights, including 10 knockouts. All but one of these fights has been in the Netherlands. So this is the guy that Callum Smith is facing in a semi-final. Now, this guy hasn't gone 12 rounds. Now, I'm not knocking Callum Smith for 1 second. I'm not knocking Callum Smith. I'm just putting it out to you, the type of guy that Callum Smith is going up against. Well, okay, he's ranked the best super middleweight in Holland, I guess. He's ranked, according to this, is it 23 in Europe or the world? It can't be 23 in the world, can it? I don't know. He's 4-star. He's had 13 bouts, 52 rounds. He's had 77% knockout ratio. He's 5'11". So Callum Smith, again, I think Callum Smith is about 6'3", 6'4". So he'll tower over Nieky Holzken as well. I would say he's a naturally bigger man here. Well, he's the first unbeaten opponent that Mr. Holzken will be fighting. Now, to give you an idea, Mr. Holzken, he's never fought a guy with a winning record, bar Callum Smith. In his second fight, he fought a guy with 22 losses. Then he fought another guy up the record who had 14 losses, then 9 losses, then 2 losses, then 23 losses, then 5 losses, then 24 losses, then 9 losses, then 4 losses, then 10 losses, then 2 losses. And now he's fighting Callum Smith. And I don't know any person on that record he is for. Absolutely no one. And they're all, of course, being in Holland. So, first of all, it's a guy that's never done 12 rounds. This is a guy that he's never fought at elite level, not as a boxer. So, this guy has been drafted in from absolutely nowhere. I think he was fighting on the undercard to fight against Callum Smith. It doesn't bode well. Now, if you go and look at Nieky Holzken, I had a quick look at him, to be fair. I had a look at him. He puts his hands up. I mean, he seems to have basic skills. He knows how to throw a jab. He's got a big wing right hand. He clips you. He obviously has got some punching power there, which I've seen. Doesn't move his head, much like Callum Smith. But he looks the type of guy that if you let him get close to you, like really close and inside, he's just going to whack away and wing away and throw shots. But otherwise, that looping right hand he throws, there's a possibility he can catch Callum Smith with that looping right hand because of the way he throws it. It's kind of like it's got wide right hand, and it's winging. So he don't care where that right hand throws. He just wings it in. Seems to have some pop there, but against what level of opposition? I mean, that you can be a puncher against, like I said, domestic level. When you're fighting against guys who are further up the food chain, first thing is, can you land those punches? And secondly, how often you can land those punches? And then thirdly, how often can you land those punches without you getting landed on and knocked out? So it's that level of situation we've got here with Holzken. He'll come, he's game, he's unbeaten, he'll come to fight for sure. And with Smith, he's unbeaten. He knows that, well, let's put it this way. There should be no reason why Callum Smith should be losing to a guy at this level, to be honest. Callum, there are levels to this game. And I do believe Callum Smith is a level above this guy, because I think Callum Smith has had a decent amateur pedigree. He's done well in the pro game. He's been well managed in the pro game, Callum Smith. Well managed to the point where he hasn't had too many difficult fights. That's a good thing, but that's also a bad thing, because when you are not getting in difficult fights, you're not actually learning more about yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses. So if you're going about your business, still throwing the jab and pulling straight back from punches and landing body shots and having everything your own way, then suddenly you get into a big fight against a guy who won't allow you to have your own way, who will hit you back in the chin and put you on under pressure. And we saw that against Eric Skoglund. You saw there were moments you were wondering, could Skoglund actually beat Callum Smith? He wasn't reacting well to pressure. So that's Eric Skoglund. Now, if you put someone like Andre Durrell in there, a Ramirez in there, a De Gale in there, other questions are being asked, because these guys are not just turning up to get hit with the chin and fall over, or get hit with a body shot and roll over. These guys are there who've just got just as much ambition or more ambition than Callum Smith, you know, being world champions or top contenders. There's a different attitude at the table here. Back to Nieky Holzken. When people don't know, automatically within the boxing community, if somebody doesn't know your name, they haven't seen you, the automatic thing we do is say, that guy's a bum. We haven't looked at him. We haven't assessed what he can do. We don't know if he could be a dark horse. That is a bum. And it's unfortunately that happens unless you're not known, you haven't got a lot of TV exposure, or you're not known in a certain community, you're automatically considered a bum and dismissed. It would be foolhardy for any of us to just dismiss Nieky Holzken because he's had a kickboxing career. You know, he obviously respects the arts to the point where he's taking part in them and he's doing well in them. And his face, he doesn't look like he's bashed up too much. I mean, looking at his face, I mean, you know, he doesn't seem like a guy who's taking a whole heap of punches, but like what I saw when he fought against his last opponent, I mean, the guy I saw, he was the guy he's fighting against had pretty decent movement. And Holzken, one good thing about him, he seemed to be able to close the range down. Although he was taking jabs and his head was being rocked back, he was able to close the range down. He was patient, closed the range down, got on top of his man, landed big punches, and got the guy out of there. That's nice. Holzken seems to be a kind of guy that if he gets you against the ropes, he's going to let his hands go. He's got no problems letting his hands go. How often he can let his hands go against someone like Callum Smith, who's going to be taller, longer. He's got that nice, beautiful jab he'll put out there, and that left hook his left hook or right hand to the body, whichever one it is. Those shots, Holzken has got to make sure he doesn't get hit with them shots, because the fight could be over very early. Because Holzken's fought nobody at the level of a Callum Smith, and he's never done 12 rounds. So all those things will be going through his mind. I'm not sure if Callum Smith has done 12 rounds, but let me double check and see that as well, if Smith has done 12 rounds very quickly. Okay, I'm looking at this on Box Rec. You know, Smith, let's see here. He's 6'3", Smith. And Smith has fought people with unbeaten records. You see the difference? He has fought guys with unbeaten records. Skoglund came with a record of 26-0, and Fielding came with 21-0, and that was a very impressive performance, knocking out Fielding the way he did. See, yeah, he went 12 rounds against Rebrassa. How could I have forgotten that? You know, as points decision. And he went, I think he got 12 rounds for the WBC International Middleweight titles. So he's done 12 rounds a few times, but he's got a lot of, and of course the Skoglund fight. He's got a lot of knockouts, TKOs on his record. So Smith is a puncher at a certain level, and you know, this fight could end pretty quickly. It could end very quickly based on Smith's knockout ratio and the guys he's fought, and Holzken's lack of experience and know-how. However, if I was going to put a strategy for this fight for Holzken, Nieky Holzken, it'd be quite simple, mate. Make sure you're not at the end of that jab. From round one, jump on Callum Smith, get inside, and just let your hands go. Literally, get inside. It's not rocket science with this fight. Holzken, get inside and let your hands go. Keep Smith's back against the ropes. Don't allow him to take center of the ring. Don't allow him to establish any sort of rhythm. Land in body shots. Whack him around the body in the body and try and throw the right hand over the top. And look for Smith to pull straight back from punches. and just jump on Smith. That's the only way Holzken can win this fight. There is no way Holzken is winning this fight from distance. Smith's got a jab. He'll keep it nice and long. The right hand and then his left hook to the body, or he'll dig the right hand in. Smith is a beautiful body puncher. I'll give him that. He's a very good body puncher. Again, my criticisms have always been, with all due respect to Callum Smith, he's always been quite, for me, I find him very upright, very limited upper body movement, head very still. So when he's taking punches, because he doesn't move his head, he's going to take the full amount of full velocity of punches. And he's another one of these guys that when they throw their punches, they move straight back. So they're always vulnerable to get clipped. And of course, from punches and from winging punches, like the guy kind of Holzken is. The other thing is Smith isn't very good when his back is against the ropes. He doesn't know how to fight with his back against the ropes. Can't sense a panic. Doesn't know what to do when his back's against the ropes. But he's very good. Center of the ring, mid-range. That is where Callum Smith is at home. That's where Callum Smith is good. Smith, is he one-dimensional? I don't know if he's one. He probably is one pace. It's like same combinations thrown over and over and over again. I don't see a lot of variety of Callum Smith. But saying all of that being said, he must be doing something right to be where he is at the moment. Albeit the opposition hasn't been the greatest, he's still doing something right. Again, for me, if Smith takes the center of the ring, early doors, I can see Nieky Holzken being blown out of there inside of 6 rounds. Really, it could be even quicker. Smith will know that he's got a final coming up, and it could be, he doesn't know who the final's going to be because of Groves' injury. So you want to be getting that fight, this guy Holzken, out of there as soon as possible. You don't want him getting any sort of rhythm. And the other thing is, you really don't want a guy like Nieky Holzken coming in here and embarrassing you, because what does that say for Callum Smith if he's to get beat by Nieky Holzken? I'm not knocking Nieky Holzken here. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying, based on the caliber of the opposition he's faced, it isn't a good look for Callum Smith, who is being touted as one of the best middleweights in the world, or the best prospect in world boxing. At one point he was. It's not good for Callum Smith to be going toe to toe with a guy like Nieky Holzken and losing or looking made to look bad. So Smith needs to do a quick job, do a professional job, and show the levels and the classes between Holzken and himself. Do a good job, get a quick job, demolition job, and get yourself through to the final. You don't want to be getting yourself into a tear up with this guy. But Holzken's got nothing to lose, which makes him dangerous. He's unbeaten, and it makes him dangerous. But again, he eats jabs and right hands, and will walk onto Smith's jab. So Smith will team up with the jab and put the right hand through the middle and the left hook to the body, or the right hand to the body, whichever one it is. So that's how I'm seeing the fight. Smith should be the overwhelming favorite in this fight for me, just because it is. But that being said, I'm not blaming Callum Smith for that, or Joe Gallagher for that, or it is what it is. The fight's been made. Now, there are some other issues here. Issue number one, this is still a pay-per-view event. People are still being charged $9.99 for something, for a bout that you could see on a Saturday night at a leisure centre with Callum Smith. That's the first thing. And I think that's not good for the paying public. They've paid to see Jürgen Bremer versus Callum Smith. This is not the product that they're paying for. So ITV have some explaining to do as to why this is still going ahead as a pay-per-view event. Ridiculous. That's the first thing. Obviously, I understand fighters need to be paid, blah, 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 but there should be something in a contract regarding a situation like this. It's not fair in the paying public, because the World Boxing Super Series has done really good. The production has been fantastic. The commentary's been good some of the time. But I've liked the whole production, how it's set up. It's been very nice, classy, clean, like it, nice. And if boxing could be like this all the time, wow. But I've loved the way they've done the Super Series, to be fair. The other problem I've got, and this is a major, major, major problem. When you look at the World Super Series, and you look at the guys that are on that list, and then you look at the guy that Callum Smith is fighting. That has brought the brand down like that, because you just had Eubank versus Groves. That should have been a final when you look at it now, because Callum Smith's route to the final is for Skoglund. Nobody knew about him. Now he's going to fight Holzken. Nobody's going to know about him. And then he gets to the final. He may end up, as people say, Smith's got an easier route to the final. He'll get to the final, and he might face a George Groves, who I'm sure will want to be in that final, and whether he is fully fit or not, will want to take his chances in that final. But we've seen what happens when guys come back into fights when they're not fully fit, i.e. James DeGale. So, you know, you may as well call this the Callum Smith super middleweight title event, because it looked all for Callum Smith, set up for Smith to win the final. I don't mean set up in the sense that it's fixed, but it's all set up. He seems to have the easier route through. You know, is there guarantee he would have beaten Chris Eubank Jr. when Groves was fighting him? Is there any guarantee that Callum Smith would have beaten the George Groves that fought Eubank last Saturday night? Is there any guarantee in that? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that Callum Smith has had a nice ride to the semi-finals, and he's probably going to have a nice ride to the finals, unscathed, really. So his toughest fight would have been against Skoglund. I'm not sure if Nieky Holzken is as good as Skoglund. I'm saying that's how much I'll say about that. Yeah, so I'll leave it as that for now. I've gone on a bit, and I know there's people in the room, and I know you all want to talk. So let me just come out of the chat, and let me come into the chat and see what you all guys are saying. Okay. We just got the page and see what I've got here into the chat room. Loads of people talking in the chat room. And I swear I will talk to you all. Bear with me. You lots to say. So I'm gonna. Mike is an absolute joke of a fight, and to say it's on pay-per-view, it's just hideous. ITV taking us all for mugs now. It's POV. Ingram, are you okay? Ashley says, did you get beat up? What are you talking about? He's inspiring the wife. What the hell is he talking about? Hi, Ingram. Don't know how I predicted Groves. Absolutely shot in the dark. LOL. Warrior. Are you okay? Are you beating? What? Lewis? No talking. Okay. Don't cry, Mikey. There's always Russian streams with Callum Smith. What a shocking fight. Let's do it. Yeah, we'll talk soon. Has Ingram turned into a company man? Are you okay? Yo. War Goldbridge. What? Mad Marcus versus Goldbridge. Winner faces Callum Smith in fight. Oh, Will Groves pull out? Don't know. Why not put Billy Joe in? That I just thought about that. Billy Joe Saunders cancels the Martin Murray fight and goes and fights in the World Boxing Super Series final. That would be nice. I'd like to see Billy Joe in there. Smith has no head movement, can't block a jab, walks in straight lines. Who's the guy? Bramer would beat him up. Well, Billy Joe got to fight Martin Murray. Very good boxer with vicious body work, but it's a shite fight. Yeah, the body work is where I think that Holzken has got a good chance. If he's going to go anywhere, I would go to Callum Smith's body if there's a weakness. It's a mismatch. Of course it is. Callum Smith gets stopped late. Oh, that's a big statement there, my friend. Gazzo says, Nieky Holzken's good fighter in K1, got fast hands. I know. No one has mentioned Howard Foster was the judge at the Groves Eubank fight. Eddie Hearn has probably paid off Jurgen Bramer. Quite possibly. He trains in Mayweather's gym, I believe. Okay. I expect Groves versus Callum Smith to have a controversial ending. Surprise, surprise. Smith could beat this guy in a round, no joke. Possibly. Don't like how much Ingram is conserving himself here, beating around the bush. Say it how it is. I've never seen Holzken box, but he's a decent K1 fighter. Is this live? Saw your breakdown and interview with Trex last night. I liked it. We'll watch your videos from now on. Hamza, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Of course, hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you. Holzken is a good good boxer for a kickboxer. I don't know Callum Smith though. He ain't even had a 12-round fight, as you stated. Callum needs to get the right hand off. Of course, let's not act like Smith is any good. Ingram, be honest, no bullshit. Should have been Smith versus Zach Parker. Now that's a good fight. Shame he fought on Eubank card. He's not dangerous. Come on, hard. Boxing novice who face absolute drivel. I know. Finally, Ingram laying down the law. So happy I didn't book this on pay-per-view when Braymore was still being promoted as the opponent. I'm going to stream the fight. It's as smart as great. With Smith getting a gimme and the organisers' reason to delay for Groves, isn't the tournament losing credibility now? It is. Commentary has been terrible. Oh, well, okay. Smith is getting the absolute easy route to the final. Absolute joke. Don't you stream anyway, Ingram? No, I don't stream, but I do live commentaries. Like I said, Howard Foster as judge in the Groves versus Eubank fight should have alarm bells. Finally, Ingram is calling it how it is. Holzken is a great counterpuncher in glory kickboxing. Don't know how he will do against Smith. Good question. Good point. Bramer is a little bitch. I want to slap him. He quit with Cleverly and now quitting again against Smith, says DJ Slick. I'm going to have to listen to the fight on TalkSport with Tony Bellew commentating. Well, you can listen to me. Holzken is a 30, and our best opponent is Huda El Izzy. I know. The WS has been amazing, but it seems to be falling apart now. I think the fight will, says Andrew B. I think the fight will be interesting because Holzken is no pushover. Still think he will lose though. Manager tonight? Yes, I will be doing the manager tonight for sure. I agree with you, brother. Ingram, he has had EZ Street in this tournament. I know. Good scene room, trap house boxing. It don't work like that. Ingram can't jump in the tournament. He can't just jump in. I know. I think Billy could have beaten everyone in the tournament. I don't see Eubank beating anyone of the top middleweights. That's true. Holzken head kick KO 4th round, says Jordan Anderson. Who's Holzken? Never heard of him. I know. Change the subject, Ingram. Did you see the article about Tyler Goodjohn, the other side of boxing? Very interesting. No, I didn't, but I will do. I'll have a look at it. Ingram on Naz mode, no filter. Always listen to Ingram's commentary, top class and very informative. They better not put Junior in there with David Lemieux to build up his self-esteem up. Why didn't they bring David Lemieux to the tournament? Middleweight, super middleweight. You could have brought David Lemieux to the tournament, sure you'd have taken the money for it. But what I don't understand is why Holzken? There are so many super middleweights in the world. Why Holzken? Why Holzken? Why can't they have brought in one of the Durrell brothers or, God's sake, even if they brought in Arthur Abraham for the fight? Do you know what I mean? There's so many fighters he could have had. Damn it, Martin Murray. Flip's sake. I don't know. Just where's Gabriel Rosado? He always turns up. He's a good replacement. Gabriel Rosado. Why don't you bring Rosado in? Billy Joe's in great shape. Why didn't Billy Joe go and have a fight against Callum Smith? I don't know. You got better odds on Ingram versus Smith than Holzken, says DJ Slick. He must be connected to Sauerland. Guarantee Eddie's Hart will have first refusal. Guarantee Eddie Hearn will have first refusal who takes place. And Abraham is pushing the boat out compared to this chap. Yeah, even John Ryder. Yeah, get Callum Smith in there. No, Callum Smith is not fine. Rocky Field in return, rematch. Get Paul Smith in there, Callum Smith. Rocky Field wanted to get in the tournament, but he didn't get in. He's not great, but he's better than Holzken. Yeah. Boxing fans, I don't know where they're going with this now, because if George Groves now doesn't make the final, or he's an injured fighter in the final, then whoever is the brainchild behind this tournament, they had to have something for injuries. I mean, I don't know if it's to do with, um, you know, venues or fighters being paid or sponsorship deals, or they just want to get the deals over and done with quickly. I don't know what, because, but clearly it seems they've made the decision that regardless if you're injured or not, they're gonna, regardless if you're injured or not, they're going to go ahead with this final, it seems. And I don't think George Grove should risk his career to get into this final where he could well get, jobbed out in the final. John Ryder would have been a decent last-minute replacement. Yes, Sam Sexton. I don't understand how they put Holzken in there, with all due respect. Holzken got great management. Ryder would have given Smith a fight. Of course he would. Yeah, sure he would have given Smith a fight. But, I mean, but you know what? Holzken is a sleeper, one of the greatest K1 fighters, a murderous body puncher, great left hook to the body, a very dangerous fighter. That's what I've said. I've said Holzken in terms of his work. He's got to, for me, if Holzken's going to win this fight, you know what? You're going to have to use your head, slip inside, and let your hands go. If there's any weaknesses about Callum Smith, I'm not sure about Callum Smith's chin. And with that frame that he's got, he looks like he could easily make light heavy or even cruiserweight. 6'3", light, a super middleweight. That body, dig that body in, dig that body in. So he's got power there. Like I said, Holzken's got some power, but what kind of power? Is that power going to be able to translate to a world-class athlete? I don't know. And remember, you're talking about Holzken landing all these punches. Can you tell me where Holzken's fought a guy who's 6'3" and got the range that Smith has got, and the power to go over it as well, and the boxing know-how? He's got a lot to overcome, and he is not the guy. Smith is Holzken's not the guy whose face is in the final. Put it this way. Andy Leo's retired. Wow. Thank you so much, Cantona, for the Tyler Gujon article. Bombers won't get the chance. It will be some European or something. Kickboxing is not boxing. Stop using its comparison. I know. That's what I've said that. He's all right, but not the greatest, well, one of the greatest kickboxers. Not on 70K when Bossok schooled him. Not 77 when the Aussie schooled him twice. Oh, boy. So he's used to being schooled. Actually talking rubbish. Holzken or Holston Pills? I don't know which one, mate. Does it say there? Did the tourney organisers not believe Eubank was good enough to meet Groves in the final? What a weirdly constructed structure. It's obvious that Groves Eubank was the big fight. I obviously loved the world boxing super series, but if Groves is out of the final because of his injury, then the setup will go down in my inspirations. Porky Ross versus Porky Paul Smith. Just for I tell you, recently we've had a real positive. I'm gonna have to do something. Okay. There we go, sorted. Was lost money when Eubank lost? Well, you should have looked into my preview and breakdown. The replacement has nothing to lose. You never know. It was tailor made for him. Yeah, quite literally. I think so. That's where we are with things. I don't think there's much more I can talk about. Andy Lee retiring. Well done, Andy. You've done well. There's some fights I'd love to see Andy Lee in. Still love to see Lee fight Golovkin just for the punching power side of things. So yeah, I think I'm going to bring this to an end. When we come back, we'll have be in the house with Eugene, and we'll be talking some Eastern European boxing news. I'm looking forward to talking to Eugene. It's been a while, so we'll be back 10-15 minutes with some Eastern European boxing news. I'm looking forward to. See you soon. Take care.